Thanks, Jeff. So for those of you that are joining us again, this is another parent forum, an opportunity for you to connect with all of us, ask some great questions about what you're seeing and experiencing at home, either with the remote learning or the emotional needs of your family. On this call, we have Dr. Jeff DeTesso, who introduced us, school psychologist in the upper school. We have the administrative team, Jackie Jenkins representing the upper elementary, and Trudy Davis and Ann Allen, I believe, for lower elementary. And I think Adam Rohde was on the call as well. Today, we also have some special guests. We have members of our physical education department, Tim Helstein and Steve Whitmore. And as Dr. DeTesso mentioned in his email, they have graciously given up their time to help field some of your questions. No pun intended there. So jump out, ask some questions. I did have a parent ask a question that I could field and get us going, as she was not able to be here. But she's loved these parent forums and chance to connect with people, and just appreciated the time. So where should we start, Tim and Steve? Do you both want to say a little something, or do you want? Great.
Sure. Welcome, everybody. We're so happy that you took time out of your day to join us. We are here. Steve and I are excited to answer any questions you have. We can talk a little bit about the program, what we currently have in place, and what plans are for where we're going for the future, of some exciting all-school events that we have for the remainder of the year. But feel free to ask any questions that you have, and we're happy to answer them. And Steve, if you want to do an introduction as well.
Sure. Thanks, Tim. Being in the lower and the upper elementary, I've been really excited to see what our team has built as far as our site, with a lot of recorded content, brain breaks, and different activities, along with some live opportunities. I think we're really coming into our own here in May. And I would like to just mention, just in Tim talking about our community events, we do have a fun run coming up. For the lower elementary, that'll be on Thursday, May 14th. And for the upper elementary, that'll be on Wednesday, May 13th. And that will be virtual in nature. We've recorded a video going around the campus, and essentially we'll be in a synchronous event with children where they will feel as if they are on campus and hear cheers and see the buildings. It'll be a really neat event. So we're looking forward to that. We also have a field day coming up for the different divisions, which will be for lower elementary on May 22nd and upper elementary on May 29th. Again, another live opportunity for our kids to interact and to see each other and just to have fun. I think it'll be a really great rally point for our community. So,
How are you thinking about running the field day? Can you give us a little inside peek there?
Sure. We did a lot of nuts and bolts this morning in our department meeting. I think it's going to be, something along the lines of having groups of children in Zoom rooms where the PE staff will be running them through all sorts of fun activities, and the teachers will be rotating through rooms to see all the children, and keeping track of scores and different things that they're doing. And putting them on color teams and having them get dressed up and just really getting them excited about being on a team and working with their peers. We'll have some recorded videos with an opening ceremony and a closing ceremony. And, we're really going to get really creative to make it as engaging and as exciting as possible. So.
That's awesome. I know everybody really looks forward to that event each year. So can't wait to see what it's going to look like in a Zoom room.
Yeah, it's really making us, think hard. And I think I'm excited though for what it's going to be.
Thank you. So I encourage you to put some questions in the chat or raise your hand and unmute yourselves. But the one question that was given to me prior by a parent that could not be here was her 5th grade son loves the live gym that he experiences on Mondays. However, it's been hard for she and her husband, who both work, to get the children outside on other days of the week. And she's wondering, will there be other opportunities for live physical education for 5th grade?
Sure. Yeah, I can answer that, Polly. We talked to Jackie about that, and also Nina, and they expressed, a lot of support to us to add additional live opportunities. And we have scheduled for all of upper elementary, so all of grades 3, 4, and 5, to have another live PE class on Friday morning at 10 o'clock. So tomorrow will be the first one of that. So there will be now 2 opportunities for 5th grade, 4th grade, and 3rd grade. And we always also have the website, again, which is all recorded content that kids can access at any time they would like to, if they're looking for a little more outlet and to get some ideas and to see us, to see the teachers. So that's always a good resource.
And Steve, how do they access that website again? Is that through the Above and Beyond for upper elementary?
Yep, that is definitely on the upper elementary hub. It's also a link on all of the Google Classrooms for all of the homerooms. They should have a link to that site. I also can obviously connect with a parent if need be, if they're having difficulty. Yeah, it's all over our sites and things we're using as communication for parents.
So the children should be able to do it totally independently in the upper elementary school. If they go to their Google Classrooms, it's right in there. The PE department did an amazing job at making sure the kids can access all of the programming on their own. So parents, just push your children to their Google Classroom and they'll find it themselves.
And that's something we also wanted to be aware of, is that when you have parents who are not only helping their other children with classwork or they're doing their own work, we want to make sure that if a child misses an opportunity for a live class, that they can always go on and find opportunities to get active, to get physical when it's convenient to them. So whether that be sometimes for some families, like myself, first thing in the morning before we sit down and start doing the school day, my kids will do an activity before they get kind of just a little bit more prepared to sit there to go over some schoolwork and slides, and then they can join a live class or they can do it after school. But we want to make sure that we are a little bit more flexible so we can fit into your timeline, to your daily occurrences, to make sure that the kids can get the physical activity when they need it.
Trudy or Ann, could you jump in and just remind people, because there are some lower elementary parents on here, where those slides are, or the link for PE for lower elementary?
Hi, yeah, for in the lower elementary, the link is always on one of the slides. So they have that in there to remind them of brain breaks and where to get to. They also have in every grade level one slide each day, which has all of the live links for that teacher. So parents are encouraged to go onto that and bookmark that slide for their teacher, and then they can see the whole week and they can plan out, I really want to make sure I hit PE here and music here. So it's in a couple of different places just to make it as easy as possible for people to find it.
Great. Somebody just chimed into the chat asking about maybe encouraging kids to get outside more, maybe doing that by asking kids to videotape themselves and upload to Seesaw or other apps, challenges, or sports practices outside.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, and we've been talking about that. We've been having some challenges right now in the upper and middle school. There's a trick shot challenge that have the kids trying to get out and doing some fun trick shots and videotaping that. We are definitely motivated to make sure kids are getting outside as much as possible. One of the things that we've talked about is creating a list of activities that are off-screen activities that students really like to do. And now we wouldn't create the list for the students would be creating that list. But it's a great menu that parents can go to say, all right, I want you to pick one activity from this list, and we're going to step off the screen and go outside and do this. I want you to pick 2 activities, and kind of a checklist for kids to join into. But we're looking into more ways we can do that and be a little bit more motivational for the students to be able to participate in these activities.
Great. I know we've had some questions each week from parents about what if their child is reluctant to try these experiences or is reluctant to get some exercise each day, and people have had suggestions. Do either of you have any suggestions that you think might be helpful along those lines?
I think with the content we have on the site, one of the big things that I think is such a benefit, besides just the physical activity, is the connection that you can make with siblings or parents or adults in the home. And so I think some of the recorded content you'll see will just help parents generate ideas. What is something a child this age might like to do, or some games or a competitive activity. So I think if parents can get involved, and I think that will get kids excited about maybe a child who isn't as motivated as others to say, hey, I see this activity by Miss Brown, let's try that, and a lot of very, very simple activities you can do inside or outside. But I think, those social emotional connections and things you're making with family members is vital right now. Obviously the physical activity is important, but getting family members involved, I think, is a good way to motivate children.
I think that's a great segue to modeling. Like, you can't expect your children to be going out and being physical if you're not doing that yourself. So I hope everybody's looking after their own physical health. We talk a lot about mental health, but everybody needs to be getting outside and walking and doing all those things. It's hard, but I think we can't expect the children to be doing it if we're not modeling it for them. So that was a good segue. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I can even speak from a parent perspective myself with my children, and it's creating this content has actually made me get out of my comfort zone a little bit and do some silly things, or some things I might not normally do with my children. And I found myself after the fact being like, wow, that was really fun, and we had a great time doing that, and I could see my kids enjoyed it as well. So I found that as a little bit of retrospect for myself.
The other thing I would say too is what the PE team has done a phenomenal job of is really having a wide range of content. So it's not just content that is run and throw and shoot and kick and things like that. We have some fun dances that students can join in on. We have some ways that I saw Steve created with his daughter in pre-K, a really great way of doing hopscotch with a little twist to it, where they're following along. So I think there's pieces for everybody to really enjoy and get a little bit more excited and motivated to be outside. And again, Jackie, thank you for saying that. I mean, modeling is so huge. We're lucky enough to have a trampoline in our yard, and I don't think I've ever jumped on a trampoline so much. If you guys could see me sitting on an ice pack right now, I am. But but it's honestly, would I do that normally? No, but actually, yes, I would. But the fact that I get to do it with my children and be laughing with them, it has created a little bit of a different relationship that has been really fun and exciting during this time. And I think we've all really enjoyed that looking at the silver lining of us all being together. So I definitely encourage that.
It's a good way to show persistence too, right? Getting out there and plugging away. It looks like there's another question posted in the chat. Fitness related. Active children who are getting outside, it's getting harder to convince them that they have to stay socially distanced from neighborhood kids who are not staying distanced, feeling like the only one left out. Any advice or language to use that might be more impactful? I feel like I sound like a teacher from Peanuts repeating myself for so many weeks, and there are more and more kids playing together every week. Yeah. Friends from GCDS apparently are starting to have outside play dates too. What do I do? Great question. Somebody else asked a similar question to that a couple weeks back. And I think I'll just start, and then Jeff and Laura for sure, or Trudy and Jackie or Ann chime in. I think that's something we as parents experience when we make different decisions or have different rules from our neighbors or our own friends. And it is hard to be a parent that isn't really saying the cool thing or what your kids want to hear, but that's your job. To keep them safe and make decisions that are right for your family. I think just acknowledging that this is hard and it's frustrating when other people are doing something different, but right now you're the parent and in charge of their safety and emotional well-being, and you may choose to make a different decision. It's hard.
Yeah, I would just jump in there and agree with that, Polly. I mean, for us, it's always really the language of, every family has their own rules, and we also don't know their family and what's going on with their family and the people they're choosing to socialize with. But we have to do what we know is right for our family. And I really think that in the end is really all you can do. And then find other ways for them to connect with their friends that aren't in person, because ultimately their upset is just because they want to be connecting with their friends and they don't want to be left out. So the more opportunities you can find that are virtual, where it is safe for them, the easier that may become.
Yeah, this is such a hard topic, and the high school kids are really itching to connect with their friends. And what I've told to those parents is this is a family decision. It has to be a family decision. There are social distancing rules that we are being asked to comply with. And so as a family, you have to decide what you feel is right for the, mental, physical, social health of your child. Not paying attention to that doesn't seem to make much sense. I think the hard part is when we make a tough decision, how do we live with it or feel comfortable that we've made the right decision for our family, for our child? And I think that's a personal parental response internally. If you know that what you are doing and the decision you are making is the right one for them, then I hope that you can all restructure your thoughts to really be able to be okay with that. I know that what the response from the kids is, but Johnny can do it, or Freddie can do it, or Susie can do it, and their parents don't care, and their parents don't care. How come you care? And I think one of the hardest things that we have to do at that point in time is say, but I'm not their parent. And we love you, and we're making a decision that is the best for our family at this time. And that is absolutely difficult if parents are also having play dates and then posting it. So, if that's what's going on, I hope that's not the case, and that makes it twice as hard. But again, you have to make a decision for your family based on what you feel are the best needs for your family.
It's hard. Somebody chimed in, they thought we had already talked about the fun run, but she came in a little bit late, and she wondered if you could, Steve and Tim, give a little bit of a synopsis as to what that fun run might look like again, and also, is it optional?
I know Steve's going to chime in here, and Steve, this has been your project. I just want to give you just an extreme shout out and props of Steve has done a phenomenal job in making this fun run as realistic as possible, I would say, and the way that he has created this. It's very exciting. I don't want to give away anything if he's holding that close to chest, but I'm excited for you to explain it, Steve. But I'd just like to say just the thinking and really what has gone into creating these these great fun opportunities that these kids can have. Steve and the team has really dug deep into making it as realistic, as interactive, as fun as possible. So I just want to give him in front of you all just extreme props for this. Well done, Steve, and I'll let you explain it. I was one of the bystanders cheering along.
Tim, I really appreciate it. Thank you. So again, the fun run has been a really great event for us over the years, and I just felt like we really need to try to figure out how to recreate it in a fun way. And so essentially we've created, you know, a video where it's going to take the children in a first person view around the campus. So they will watch the video in a synchronous event on a Zoom call with all of their peers, and they will be looking as if they are on campus, and they will be running or moving their bodies in the home, feeling like they're there, and hearing cheers and seeing the buildings. And I think that's even beyond the physical activity is just the feeling of normal, right? And feeling like, oh wow, you know, there's my school, there's the field I play on, there's the playground I play on, and just seeing the school again, I think is a really powerful thing for kids right now. So they're going to kind of be immersed in that feeling. And then as far as just, I think the question was also about how do we train for it? You know, we kind of do train in the years past. What we would do is leading up to the event, we would just weave that into our lessons, and we'd start slow and progress. We'd start with a few laps around the gymnasium, and then we'd go outside and do a couple laps around the field. And then we'd extend it a little more every few days until we got to about half of the actual distance. So every day we just keep progressing the distance. And obviously talking to them about pacing, which, you know, for young kids is very, very hard. You tell them, and then as soon as you say go, they run as fast as they can. So they're completely forgetting what you just said to them, but because they're excited. So I think, you know, just getting them out there and progressing, you know, the distance and the amount, and also knowing your child and knowing their fitness levels and capabilities is important too. But it should be a very fun event. So looking forward to it.
It's great. I always throw my sneakers on. I love Julie Karash's comment. Major kudos to the PE team for your persistence and creativity. When asked what he will remember about quarantine, my son Matt's response was doing the PE videos and brain breaks with you, Mom. Thank you for the memories. It's great.
I love that because it also brings us back to what Jackie had said about, you know, the modeling. And it's amazing what your kids will remember. And it's often these silly, goofy times with you. You know, when you let your hair down, guess I can't do that anymore, but when you let your hair down and you just jump in and you join in. My son always talks about playing floor hockey or knee hockey in our basement, and the hours that we would spend, you know, just trying to score on each other in this fun time was just so memorable for him. So anything that you guys can do with your children in these moments to model, to be with, to, you know, just bond and attach, again, modeling, but also there's a sense of comfort when you can spend time with your children in this way, and it takes their mind off of everything else. And really, it's just a connected attachment that who doesn't need more of that?
And the best part is nobody else is looking during these days, so you don't have to worry about the way you look. So that's how it is.
Well said, Tim. Well said.
For sure.
Do we have any other questions that are maybe not PE related or are in another realm? Actually, you don't even have to type it in the chat. You can just unmute yourself if you have a question. We have such a small group.
And if we don't have questions, it's a beautiful day. It might not be so beautiful this weekend. So
yeah, I would say going once, going twice. Okay. Everybody enjoy this wonderful weather. Thank you so much to everyone who joined us today, and Steve and Tim for giving up your time, and of course our administrations and Polly and Laura, and of course Adam. So thank you. We'll see you next week.
stay well.
Bye-bye.